So, Deborah, can you tell us how you got involved in, what is the name of your organization?
Well, Affordable Healing Arts is a business inside the New Orleans Healing Center.
Okay.
I think that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
The New Orleans Healing Center project was created by neighbors in the neighborhood in a post-Katrina world, where they started meeting and talking about how they wanted to rebuild the neighborhood. It's been an underserved neighborhood for a long time for many different reasons. There's a lot of history in New Orleans, as you might imagine. And,
A lot of political history?
Some of it's political, some of it's racial. A lot of it has to do with economy, obviously. You know, it's more about poverty than anything else, as it is the story everywhere. Ignoring and blight and we don't need to fix that. And so there are a lot of properties that have been neglected for many, many, many years. And so it's kind of funny when you go by, it's like, well, was that a casualty of the storms or was it something else? And so a lot of it has been blighted for a long time. Nobody ever did anything about it. So that's one of the issues. You also don't want to go straight into gentrification. So of course that's a hot button right now. One of the goals of the Healing Center was to revitalize this neighborhood. So of course once people start coming back and more small businesses start cropping up and things start happening, then you get the attention of people who have more money, who want to take advantage of the situation and make more money. And, you know, I'm not against people making money. That's not the thing. But to where only a select few can live there, then what was the point?
Right. And was that talked about during the meetings?
We did talk about that, absolutely. And we were not here to do that. And it's kind of obvious when you walk through this building, this has not been gentrified. You know, there's nothing fancy about it. And we didn't want it to be that way. We want it to be accessible to people in the neighborhood and other people who want to come visit. And we want people to feel safe and comfortable coming in, which is always a challenge.
How did you get involved? Who brought you into the project?
You know, it's funny, I don't really know exactly. We could have some conversations. There is one person who fessed up, but I got invited to some meetings when they were coordinating people in the healing arts to participate in the Healing Center. So
And what is your practice?
My practice is called Asian Bodywork Therapy.
And what is that?
It's a Chinese medicine-based touch, generally, therapy that brings balance to your meridian chi. It's the ultimate goal. We have lots of different ways of doing that, but that's my practice, and I've been doing that for a long time. I was also a teacher and very heavily involved in the National Membership Association representing this practice. And so I was, you know, fairly involved, and so a couple people threw my name in the hat, even though I didn't live in New Orleans anymore. So
Where were you?
across the lake. I moved out to the country. I found me a little place and very secluded and saves my sanity. And so that's, after living downtown here for 15 years, that was where I ended up, because I'm much more of a nature girl. Yeah. So coming to the meetings, I'm like, yes, I want to support the project. I think it's a great idea. No, I don't want to spearhead the project. Thank you very much. And as time went on, about a year and a half later, then Sally Ann Glassman, who was one of the CEOs basically of the building and the instigator of this whole thing, she started tugging on my sleeve and saying, don't you want to do this? And basically I just finally agreed. I don't like to see a good project not happen, and it kind of looked like it wasn't going to happen. So I thought, well, what the heck?
And what did they want you to do?
Run this part, have this business, and be in charge of the healing arts. We have non-competes with each other in the building. That was one way to fulfill the sustainability model from Michael Benelli. You have to have sustainability in a lot of different areas: financial, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental.
And who is Michael Bernelli?
So, Michael Benelli, it's hyphenated, Ben, E-L-I. I have met him, but as far as who he is, I can't really tell you right off the top of my head. It's been a few years since I looked at that information. Sorry.
But he said something about neighborhoods.
He created a sustainability model for healthy communities and said in order for a community to be healthy, you have to have all of these factors represented, and they have to be represented well enough that they're sustainable, functional, viable, so the community continues to survive and thrive. So in order to have all of those things, we created a non-compete with each other in the building. So there's one healing arts center, there's one food store, there's one credit union, there's one gym, there's one restaurant, there's one performance hall, you know, on and on and on. And so it wasn't chaotic inside the building for the different businesses. And so far that seems to be working pretty well, as far as I can tell. Could benefit from having something like this nearby. And even though we sort of make those attempts, it's not in a real coordinated way, and it's not sort of a directed effort. You have these just various businesses that pop up all over the place, and they may or may not support your community in a healthy way, but ultimately it depends on whether or not the people are going to support the businesses. So we want our business to support and help this community get to the healthiest state that it can in as many ways as possible. And with a project like that, I couldn't just say, yeah, good luck.
Right.
You know, that it's just too important and it makes too much sense to me. So that was how I got involved in it, and then my challenge was to figure out how to take this space that they'd already designed, which looked beautiful to me, but it's also very big, to make it work for as many people as possible. So that was my challenge, how to do that. And so, sort of in keeping with the theme of everything else, we have a shared space environment, we share the expenses. I'm actually, just as we speak, in the process of revamping that a little bit, because we've been open 4.5 years now, and it's time to make a few changes. Things aren't quite working as well as I'd like in certain areas, so we're making some changes there.
Can you tell us what those areas might be? Just as an attempt to make sure that other people, if they try to pull this together for a neighborhood, they don't make similar mistakes or challenges.
Well, part of it is because the space is so big, we just don't have enough people, enough practitioners to really carry it.
Here in the like, you have Reiki masters, you have MD.
We do.
What else?
She practices functional medicine.
Okay.
We have two Reiki masters. One of them is also a hypnotherapist. We have a man who specializes in conscious connected breathing. We have 2 of us who do Asian body work. We have 3 massage therapists. And I think we have 7 or 8 mental health therapists right now. And of course that changes. You know, people come and go, and so my main thing is to tell people, look at the website and you'll see who the current people are that are here and what they're doing and how to get in touch with them. They all run their own business. They don't work for me. And that was a big deal for me as well as for everybody else. And so many practitioners are really good at their practice but not so good at running a business. It's kind of like an artist trying to run their business. It's not always very easy. And so even though I attempted to make it as simple as possible, it still hasn't quite worked out as well as I would like. So, or as well as I have to have it work out, really. I have to make the numbers balance out too.
And do you have affordable services for people? Is that part of your mission, or?
I think so. One of our rules is that everybody has to offer something that's $20 or less.
And what is
And
that?
they
look
can
like?
decide what that
Yeah.
looks like.
Okay.
For some people, it's like a free demonstration that they offer periodically or regularly. Or maybe they'll do a group and invite people to come in by donation. I only charge $1 a minute for my practice, so people can choose $10, $5, $20, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I'll do whatever I can in whatever time you've got, you know. So in that way, I think we've done what we can. Most of us do not take any type of insurance payments, mostly because it's just too much trouble. We really cannot afford to do it. And of course that goes into issues in our healthcare system that desperately need to be changed and fixed and upgraded. But as we all know, changing major systems like that is very difficult.
Does the neighborhood use your services?
Many people do, absolutely.
And do they use it instead of conventional medicine because they just can't afford it or don't have insurance, or is it
Well, it's
supplement?
hard for me to speak for everyone that way. All of us have, you know, our ethical requirements as well. You can't really tell someone, oh, this is in lieu of your regular medical care.
Mm-hmm.
And generally that's not what I see. What I see in my practice is people who are looking for either a different opportunity, or they're looking for a way to maintain their health in a different way over time. Instead of waiting until you get sick, if you can maintain your health better, you're going to be better overall. So we do also a lot of education when we can, of, you know, add this into your life, add that into your life, maybe that will help you balance yourself out better. Go next door and take a yoga class. Learn something new. Go find out more about food. You know, there are just a lot of things that people don't know at all about taking care of themselves. And there's so much now information that's contradictory that everyone's just confused. And a lot of them just get stuck. They just stand there. I just don't even know what to do anymore. Now, I do get some people in my practice that have just gotten tired of running around through all the different parts of the medical system and not really getting much relief. And so a lot of times we do get people like that who say, you know, we've just tried everything else. So is there anything that you guys can do? And of course we're going to try. If they ask us, we're going to do what we can. But we never will say to them, oh yeah, we can fix you. That's not how it works.